Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of the VHS tapes. Uh, I know I said in the Ducktales season 1 episode, it'll be a few months. We'll get around to the next one. Yeah, it's been over a year. I'm just really had a slow time at rewatching this show because it's still so new. I had only just watched it. Like, I think I had only just finished the third season when we initially started the podcast, and then we did the first episode whenever.
Yeah.
Uh so it's kind of just been a slog rewatching something I've just watched. But here we are.
Better
Uh
late than never.
Obviously I'm Heroicus and I'm joined by how do I pronounce your name again?
Waffles.
Okay, Waif. This is Wafez.
God, I hate it.
I just did that to trigger you.
Of course.
If you would prefer me to just call you Wafez, I will.
Nah, that's fine.
Okay. But anyways, yes, DuckTales season 2. So you are the Duck Simp, so where would you like to begin?
I guess we could start at the beginning of it.
All right.
So the first episode.
The most dangerous game night.
You forgot the three dots.
Well, that's why I paused.
Oh. Lame.
Okay.
Well, thought it was pretty good. I think as like someone who did watch it, like when it aired, it was like a nice breather episode, of getting back in.
Mhm.
But I guess when it's streaming, it's just, there. It may seem like
Yeah.
filler.
Nah, I liked it. See what I basically wrote is they're playing charades, and the game ends up going haywire because everyone is systematically shrunken down to a microscopic size. Well, not everybody. There's some people. I think Louis doesn't get shrunk, if I
I think
remember.
it's Louie and Scrooge and Huey. No, Huey gets.
Yeah, yeah. My favorite part is Launchpad literally just doesn't give a shit about being shrunk while everyone else like freaks out.
I love that.
Initially, he pulls out his phone, he calls them. Uh, they panic because a Jenga tower collapses, and then like they think he's dead, but then like he calls back and like, "Yo, I'm fine. It's all good," or whatever the fuck he said. And then they're just like crying. It's fucking. I love that shit.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I did right. At one point, everybody but Louis got shrunk down, and he had no choice but to like be a leader and like direct everybody, which
Oh
was
yeah.
by the end, Scrooge did commend Louis for this, and he starts Louis Incorporated. But because he's so lazy, we don't hear anything about this until season 3. Just about. Uh, but yeah, there are good moments, and it's kind of a reoccurring thing. I say is like any launchpad moment is just automatically top tier.
Yes. Also, it's very clear from this episode that this season's a very much Louis centric season.
Ah, yes,
Yeah, last season was Dewey. Now we got Louis and Della, but Della comes in a bit later.
yeah. And yeah, we do tend to bounce around a bit, but I think going episode by episode actually will be okay here.
Yeah.
Just for it to make sense, because it's like instead of just a movie, like there's just context that needs to be there. So
Yeah.
let's see. The second one, kind of a filler one.
Oh,
It does get elements of it do get brought up in the season finale, so it is still important. But yeah, it's
this is my least favorite episode of the
yeah,
entire show.
yeah. It does have a couple of moments I liked. So after answering something, the boys end up having to go meet Cousin Feathery because he called about, like, oh shit, I found something in the ocean, and like Scrooge is just beyond fed up with it at this point because he doesn't really find anything. At least he thinks so. But at the start of this episode, Launchpad is seduced by Oceanica, and then he just shows up at the end after this weird Aquaman adventure. And it's similar to the thing in season 1 where he like what was it? Is Gladstone the one that's the lucky one, or
Yeah, it was
okay?
Gladstone.
Yeah, there was his episode, and then like he disappears to find his girlfriend or something, and I think they were in Japan or something.
They were in Macau. Actually, I think they call it Macaw in that universe.
Of course. By the end, he shows up. He's like in samurai style armor, and he's got an eye patch for some reason.
And he's like, "I'll never
It,
forget you."
it's basically the same thing here, but he apparently became Aquaman partway into this adventure. There needs to be a Launchpad show that shows all of his fucking off-screen adventures.
That
Like
would be that'd be good.
Disney executives, I will pay $30 a month for Disney Plus if you create this show, and it needs to be at least 6 seasons.
You're willing to pay more for Disney Plus than what they're making you
Just,
pay for HBO Max.
yeah, just for Launchpad.
Oh, I'm
Just,
sorry. I meant Max. That's the name of it now.
oh, it's just Max now. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, interesting. But yeah, anyways, the boys they get attacked by a venom Jewbear creature that only releases its victims after getting compliments, which is very fitting.
That is very Venom.
All right, you go for the next one. I need a drink.
All right. Next one is the Ballad of Duke Baloney. Basically, in the first season, Glomgold kind of gets washed up into sea, and he kind of gets amnesia. So then he becomes a fisherman, which I think his name is Duke Baloney. That's his actual name that we learned to figure out. Glomgold's a
Yeah,
fake identity, and I think it's Louis and Webby that find him in the
yeah,
fishing town, and they're like, "What the fuck is he doing here?"
yeah. And like you say, he's got amnesia, has no clue who he was before or whatever. It's only when like he sees a one of Scrooge's boats, he just like for some reason like this boat makes me irrationally angry.
Yeah.
Uh, but like he actually meets Scrooge and still just like doesn't get anything, and Scrooge just kind of like, hey, he's got amnesia, just leave him. I don't give a shit.
I don't care. One less person to worry about.
Uh, but he does get his memory back eventually after he saves Louie and Webby, and then he steals their fish just just to be an asshole.
Yeah. He's in that
Uh,
for no reason.
yeah,
Actually, no, he
return.
does have a reason. I think it's.
No, well, probably just he can sell the fish for profit, and they won't be able to.
Oh no, I meant a reason why he's an asshole.
Yeah, so there's he goes back, gets his company, challenges Scrooge to a wager. Like whoever is the richest at the end of the year will inherit the other person's fortune and their company and everything. Um, and it's revealed that, like how Scrooge, when he was young, he got his number one dime after like shining someone's shoe. He tried to teach uh, Glomgold slash Duke the same lesson, but Glomgold was just like 10 cents. Like at that point in time, like it was worth more than that. So wasn't he wasn't getting the lesson at that point. And apparently he stole Scrooge's belt buckle.
Yeah.
Uh, So like this is what like kind of triggers Scrooge to like take the bet. But my favorite part of the episode is he has a nightmare before he's like recovered his memory, and it's just all these like really in your face, like his subconscious is literally just trying to tell him like you're Glom Gold by literally having gold just mass all over him, and he literally says the line, "The gold is glomming onto me." I fucking pissed
That
myself
was
laughing because it's such a stupid joke.
it's
Uh,
stupid, but it works.
yeah, it's just fucking dumb. There was other stuff I didn't write, but yeah, there's other funny moments in that dream. Oh yeah, if I sound weird, I mean I told you before we started, but I had influenza last week. That was nice. I'm still getting over it, so I'm still coughing a bit, and I've been talking the most I have all week, so there's a muscle in my neck that's starting to hurt now already. So that's
Yeah.
nice.
Oof. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
I
sucks.
think it's mostly unrelated. I might have just twisted my neck the wrong way earlier.
Probably.
Yeah. Okay, let's see what's next. Okay, oh yeah, episode 4. Um, the town where everyone was nice. This is also like it has some funny moments, but still also not one of my favorites because it kind of I don't think they ever came back to this, or maybe it's a season 3 thing and I forgot it.
What, the town itself?
Yeah, so it's like this is the one where there's that
Yeah.
sentient plant thing, but at the end they show that the plant like wasn't dead, and then like I don't ever remember them coming back to it. So
No, they probably would have if the show wasn't prematurely canceled.
hey, you, ow, sorry,
There's
I'm allergic to Disney making stupid decisions. Ugh.
Yeah, there's a lot that gets set up in season 2 especially that's set up for future, but it never comes back because of it getting canceled after season 3.
Yeah, that's so dumb.
Yeah,
I want more Ducktales. I don't care if they have to change the name, just bring it back. I want more.
we all do.
Let's see. So yeah, so a big part of it is Donald reuniting with his what was it the other two? I'm gonna mispronounce this. Caballeros. I don't think I have the right.
Gabieros.
Yeah, I don't have the. I can't do the inflection shit right now because I'm taking everything I had just to speak normally. Well, in my my accent, I guess. Uh,
Yeah,
um,
I am probably
uh,
biased in this episode because of how much I love the three Caballeros.
yeah, they're funny. It's
Funny.
just I think a lot of why some of these episodes I didn't care for the second time is again it's just I'm watching it too soon. Whereas like I could go back and watch Avatar and Legend of Korra, which I watched in like 2020 or so. But that was 3 years ago. This was like I watched this in like 2021, only 2 years ago, and already started rewatching it like the same year because we were prepping to do the first episode in the second season of this. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just been a pain. I mean, at least now I'm going to be in an area where I will enjoy it a bit more because I think when I got to midway season 2 to season 3, I was watching it and it was like summer.
Yeah.
And when I would go on my break to watch it, I'd be at work and it was just way too bright. I have to crank the brightness on my screen. I could barely see anything. So I'm basically just listening to some of these episodes. So I'm finally actually going to see like the actual animation that was there. Um, but anyway, um, yeah, so the other two caballeros, if I pronounce that right,
You did better
uh,
that time.
yeah, they pretend that they like really made it, and they're like it's just a facade because they're trying to impress Arnold because they think he made it because he's, he lives with his rich uncle.
Yeah, and he was
Uh,
pretending he made it too.
so Huey convinces Scrooge to help Donald also pretend he's like rich and successful. And then they all eventually, realize it and like, yeah, we're all broke. It's fucking great. Let's see,
Um, I love the part where they're like, remember the three caballeros, they're like to Donald, like, oh, remember that time you dropped that egg as a joke while you were juggling? And then Huey and Louie just all just look at Dewey. They're like, yeah, it was him. That was a hilarious moment.
I must have missed that. Excuse me. Uh, so yeah, this weird plant thing is like possessed. Well, actually, no, it's not possessed. It's rigged up like parts of itself to look like villagers. Um, and like apparently Webby's asking questions to them, and they just start acting like NPCs, like cycling through the same dialogue over and over again. I should have written what the hell they were saying, but like it becomes obvious like something's wrong. And at some, I don't know the context of this, but at some point I know this is Louis asking. Yeah, but the line is he's asking. I'm going to assume Huey or Webby. You've taken 100 photos today. Why don't you have any pictures of people's feet? And I'm just like, out of context, that sounds so inappropriate. Like, yeah, the secret of Ducktales is Louis has a foot fetish.
That was it the entire time.
So yeah, it ends up with Donald and his friends. They ending up saving the day purely because of their bad singing. It just physically hurts the plant somehow, which is great. Uh, so if there was ever like a follow up episode where this plant like takes over the world or something, it's just like it would just be a matter of them hooking up to a satellite system that just blasts their music all over the planet. It'd
Yeah.
be like a it'd be like a Bill and Ted situation, but everyone fucking hates it. So I'd be down. I'd be down to have seen that.
That would be a good one.
Then we have episode 5, Storkules and Duckburg. I like that. I've not seen the movie, but it's a reference to I think Hercules in New York,
Oh.
um, or something like that. It is an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie where,
Handy.
funny enough, he in the what I read from it is he actually got dubbed over in the German dub for the film because his accent is the equivalent of like a hillbilly. So like he would sound like a complete moron. So they got like some guy who like sounds like your average German person to like do his voice in that. Uh no, amusing.
Intriguing.
Maybe we'll watch that on the podcast someday. It seems like an amusing movie. Any of those old Arnold Schwarzenegger movies with really bad one-liners is just always comedy gold. But
Yeah.
anyway,
It'll probably happen in like 3 years.
yeah, season 6. Anyway, so yeah, Storkleys visits Donald and reveals he's his new roommate. And he cooks pork chops and thought the gas coming from the stove was a ton of snakes, so he threw the stove out of the boat. I don't know how you look at smoke and think it's snakes, but okay. I guess they see in the art style.
True. Yeah. Plus, he's also like been trapped on an island with his father, not Hercules, Zeus. So,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I could see him being ignorant about that.
Yeah, so some harpies flew from Greece to annoy Storkules. Ends up scaring them away, and Louis hires them for Harp Be Gone, a service to get rid of harpies.
Yeah,
And then ends up trying to. He convinces them, like, let's just keep letting them out, and then you can catch them, and then we can just make, like, endless money from this. Uh,
that
but they have,
backfired.
yeah, because they store them on the boat, and then, like, Donald just, like, opens the door and lets them all out again. They end up flying off with the boat. Storkules, well, oh no, Louis agrees to help Storkules, and he picks them up and he like swings them in a circle like Louis is Mjolnir and just takes off with them somehow,
Yeah.
which I loved. I wish you would have like used Louis to smash them. That would have been fucking great. Just like the end of the episode, he's just like got black eyes and broken teeth, and then like he just shakes his head and he's back to normal in like a second. Like give me that old cartoon humor that I used to see. Um, After the rescue, they just make the harpy slaves for Scrooge's new lemonade business.
Oh, yeah.
And he literally says something like, "Oh, I don't have to pay them anything. This is perfect." It's like, whoa,
Yeah, he cares about money that much.
yeah, fucking
I mean,
damn, man.
yeah. Scrooge endorses slavery.
Yes. Oh no. Let's see. All right. Episode 6, Last Christmas. I loved the series of references to A Christmas Carol,
Yeah.
which, if I'm not mistaken, is where Scrooge's character originated from.
Yeah, it originated from like they did some Disney version of it, and they created Scrooge McDuck for that. So
Yeah.
I think,
So yeah, Scrooge just hates the Christmas season. Says "bah humbug" at the beginning, and I forget who. Probably Louis just said like he said it. He said the thing, or either that or I just wrote that.
actually, no, I think it was Webby,
Yeah,
which would
and
make
I'm just
sense.
like, so it's funny how like they know, like they must have seen the movie or something.
Maybe he made he was like in a movie and he starred as himself.
Yeah,
I mean, that's just a slogan of McDuck Enterprises, bah humbug.
yeah. So yeah, after that, Scrooge went out to hang out with the three spirits, and yeah, the whole Christmas hating thing is actually just a cover. But he does
Yeah,
hate Santa, which that will come back later.
yeah, season
Uh,
3.
yeah, yeah. Scrooge ended up trapped in his first Duckburg Christmas. He ends up having to trick, was it the cricket? Yeah, and leaves with the time umbrella.
Yeah,
I hate that they called it that.
the time
Uh,
umbrella.
Huey had hitched a ride, and he ended up when Donald and Della were kids. Donald is just your average angsty teen. Della is like exactly the same, but just cuter. Um, they they find Della and get attacked by a Wendigo, but it's very clearly a Minotaur. Um, I don't know. I mean, I guess they just made it look different because the actual design of a Wendigo would be probably just too creepy for this show.
Yeah,
Um, Scrooge arrives by luck and finds that the Wendigo is actually the ghost of Christmas past. And eventually everyone just goes back and has a nice Christmas. I really hate when some episodes I took really half-assed notes that make no sense, and I just brush everything away, brush everything aside. I kind of hate that. But over on the moon, Della wishes the boys a good Christmas and continues work on her rocket. And it's like a really sweet little moment.
Yeah.
And then, episode 7, whatever happened to Della Duck?
There we go.
This is where the good shit starts.
Yep.
So we do get a flashback episode going over what happened to Della and how the hell she's breathing on the moon. Black licorice flavored Oxy Chew. Just,
Yep.
of course. Of course. Yes, and then we have several failed rescue signal attempts get thwarted by this moonlight thing. And we're introduced to Penumbra and Lunaris. Little moment to say rest in peace to Lance Reddick, I believe that's how it's pronounced. Just took me a second.
Yeah. Lance Reddick, I think.
I'm beyond tired. But yeah, he was the voice of Lunaris, and he's also, some other people might know him. He was in the John Wick movies. It's been a while since I watched, so I forget the name of the character. He was in the Horizon Zero Dawn and Forbidden West games. He was.
Isn't a lot.
Again, I can't remember his name. I'm just tired. But yeah, rest in peace to that guy. He's a fantastic actor. He was sorely missed. But yes, the Might, they all team up to fight the Might, but it does end up destroying Della's ship. She gets in a Donald Duck style rage and attacks the Might, but then notices it's just a baby. Eventually, she just sings a lullaby to it. It leaves with its mother and never have to worry about them again. Then Della is taken to Tranquility, where this giant golden city exists, and like, I guess the dark side of the moon is actually just a crater where they built this city.
Yeah.
And Della's just kind of pissed because like this was here the whole fucking time. I love that. It's like she's been here so long and like they never bothered to like actually interact with her.
Yeah, she's like, I could have just walked a couple more miles and boom, civilization.
Yeah, I don't know if she said that in this one or it's her next episode. But the next episode actually, annoyingly, went back to Earth on a completely unrelated thing, but it was still a funny episode. Treasure of the Found Lamp.
One.
Yeah, so first off, Scrooge really needs to label things, especially these dangerous artifacts that he is still keeping in his garage.
I mean, it does play to his whole ego problem he has.
Yeah, but still, we need to label shit because yeah, I forget. Like something happened in this one. I don't think it was the one where they banged the gong 3 times. I think that was season 1.
Yeah.
But yeah,
This
like that was a instance. Like I feel like you would put that in a box and like what label it like whatever you do, don't open and hit 3 times.
like in
It would be
Indiana
bad.
Jones, like with the whole storage, it just do that.
Yeah, because that worked pretty well in the Indiana Jones universe.
Yeah.
But yes, a Ferris Jinn shows up to claim the lamp of the first genie, but typical Louis being a shitter, he sold it because he thought it was junk, which is why it needs to be labeled. So Scrooge and Webby make up a fake quest to distract the Jinn so the boys can find it. But turns out Gladstone bought it, who traded it to Doofus Drake, who used it as a syrup boat and then threw it away after it was empty. I fucking hate Doofus Drake so much.
Who doesn't?
He's just such an idiot. Uh, it ended up at the Beagle junkyard, where Jin and the Ducks attempt to retrieve it before dawn. Because apparently, like, if it's in the wrong hands by dawn, it'll, bad shit will go down. But it turns out it's just a family heirloom and doesn't contain a genie, and it would only be terrible for falling in the wrong hands because it's a family heirloom.
Yeah.
It's just like the whole time he was just bullshitting them while they were bullshitting him, so it's great.
Back and forth bullshitting.
Yeah, and we do see his character again. I believe it was in the season 2 finale. Maybe he popped up in season 3 as well. I'm pretty sure he did. But I haven't rewatched season 3 yet, so I almost started watching it, but I just didn't quite get there yet. If you want to say anything about episode 9, go ahead, because I have absolutely no notes for it for some reason.
Episode 9, the I cannot speak. The outlaw Scrooge McDuck.
Oh yes, now I remember what this one was about.
This is a definition of a flashback episode, because
Yeah.
I think it starts off with like Louis watching the Ottoman Empire show, and
Mm-hmm.
then something happened, and then basically Scrooge starts reminiscing about a time in the Wild West with Goldie Old Gilt, of course, and also a sheriff named something Marshall Cabrera, I think, because he's he's related to a. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm forgetting his name. Fucking Iron Man. Uh,
Oh yeah, he's
Gizmo Duck. There you go. How did I forget
yes.
about Gizmo Duck? Yeah, he's Gizmo's duck relative. Something like that.
Yeah, probably like his great grandfather or something.
Yeah,
Considering
something
how
like that.
fucking old Scrooge is.
I'll probably like great.
That's the thing I gotta think is like you'd think more people would be infuriated with Scrooge because he's lived so long and like other people just live like normal lives and like
Yeah,
they'd be like this guy is like been around since like this fucking early 1800s or something, and it's like like an entire 4 generations of fucking worked for him or something.
have been enslaved towards to him.
Pretty much, yeah. uh but yeah, this one I forget if this is where we were introduced to Goldie or no, I don't know.
She was in season 1.
Okay. No, yeah, that's right. But yeah, we do get some backstory for her because like she's also mining for gold at the same time, and all
Oh
this
yeah,
shit goes down.
they meet John D. Rockerduck. He'll become important later. He's like just a millionaire tycoon, but not like Mark Beeks.
Yeah, but cooler, I guess,
I guess, yeah.
because he's not Mark Beeks.
Yeah, and he has a hat. That hat's good.
Yeah, he's like the duck version of uh what's hang on. I gotta look up this character.
Yeah.
Big hat cartoon character. What's this guy's name? Da, da, da. There's literally a picture of him, but it doesn't have his name on it. What is this guy's name?
The big guy?
No, no. Oh, Doug Dimmadome from
Oh, Doug
the
Dimmadome,
Dimsdale
owner of the
Dimmadome.
Dimsdale Dimmadome.
I'd never I saw some of that show, but I don't think I ever saw that episode. But
I grew up with that
I've
show.
seen so many memes of that character. Like, yeah, that's who I was thinking of. That speaking of, I was on VR chat yesterday, and someone had a Stan's avatar, but it had the Doug hat and outfit, and I was like, oh my! And it literally, the hat just literally did not end. It just went out of render distance, I think. Oh my god, it was funny shit. It's
Sounds like
annoying if the person looked down though, because then there's just this hat just piercing through everybody. But yeah, VR chat avatars are some fucking weird shit. I love it. But anyways, yeah, I think yeah, Scrooge and Goldie eventually like got put in jail because that what's his face like owns the town basically,
yeah.
and I think he had them jailed purely because of their competition. But they got out because what's the scientist guy works for Scrooge?
Um,
Yeah, he
hold
shows
on,
up.
hold on. Gilus.
Oh, yeah, I actually thought you had said it. Sorry. But yeah, Gearloose shows up with a time bathtub
Yeah, the time bathtub.
and builds a uh, Gizmo Duck like steampunk almost style suit for Gizmo Duck's ancestor. That was fucking great.
It's a it's a reference to the future that you'll never see.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, and I don't know. I don't remember the rest of this. It just they beat the bad guy, and
Yeah, they beat the bad guy. Goldie obviously betrays Scrooge because they got that thing going for them.
yeah, and then the town just faded into obscurity because of everyone's actions.
Yeah.
So like, good job, everybody. Let's see. So episode 10. Well, we're halfway through. The 87-cent solution. This I love this one. This is fucking great. Um,
Oh yeah.
Scrooge dips into the money bin and instantly knows he's been robbed of 87 cents exactly. Uh, th-
Yeah.
the boys suspect that he has gold sickness because he's like immediately after this, he's just like he's losing his mind. He puts out a $2 million bounty on the thief for 87 cents. It's more, I feel like it's actually less he's worried about 87 cents. It's just someone broke into his vault and stole something, and it shouldn't be possible. Um, so he's continually babbling through the episode about some thief from like an interdimensional reality named, just known as Chester, invisible to everyone but him. So it's just like, it just makes you actually believe like maybe he is actually just losing his mind or he's under some weird curse or something.
Yeah, and
Um,
I love that one part where Huey just like, okay, we all gotta mask up now.
yeah,
6 feet apart distance.
yeah.
And
Interesting
hilarious.
timing on that. Well, they predicted coronavirus.
Yeah, 1 year before.
Yeah. So then we have, he's just slowly becoming more and more disheveled and whatever. And then eventually he just apparently dies of this gold fever partway through. The funeral Gizmo Duck just says the command engage bagpipes. uh, Huey gives a nice speech about them trying to consider his theory and that this Chester would have had to have been a master genius, but ultimately there's no way that someone could even pull this off. This immediately triggers Glomgold, who is unable to contain himself, runs up and explains exactly how he did it because he is actually Chester. He came across a time stopping watch and just immediately, well, not immediately, he froze time for like a year and then he started fucking with everybody because it took him that long to figure out how to restart time or something.
It's like
But
he was
then,
stuck there
He,
for a year doing nothing.
yeah. But then, like, yeah, he started screwing with Scrooge. Oh yeah, this was just great. It's like they knew that like this has to be Glomgold somehow. Uh
I just
yeah.
loves when he just comes into the funeral with that song blaring,
Yeah, and he's all dripped out and everything.
and he's just like, I think he started twerking on Scrooge's like casket.
fucking great. Uh then we have episode 11, The Golden Spear. A random goat shows up in a portal with a promise of treasure, and Louie and Scrooge just immediately jump in without a care in the world. Donald got sucked in too. They reappear later with no explanation why Donald has been completely shaved, but Donald gets a cruise to just unwind. On the moon, Della plans to expand her ship after being challenged by Penumbra, much to Penumbra's disappointment, so she sabotages it to launch Della. Lunaris then asks Della to give them the plans for her ship so they can make copies, and they'll be able to, you know, come to Earth at a later time.
Yeah.
Once she leaves, he lies and says like Della betrayed us, and they in the background they start production on their own ship so they can launch an invasion on Earth, which will be like the final episodes. Della crashes on Earth near Donald, and she leaves her ship, and then Donald just happens to run into the ship and launches himself to the moon. It is,
This is
oh
such
my
a
god,
Donald thing to do.
yes, of course. And he immediately just happens to find the same Oxy Chew, so he can, breathe. I love it.
He'll have to suffer the black licorice as well.
Yeah. So after a reunion, wait, whoop, no, that's my note from the next one. Sorry. Episode 12, Nothing Can Stop Della Duck. She arrives back at the mansion. Scrooge ends up just dropping a magic glass quill in utter shock. I think, if I remember, because I didn't write it, this thing basically just was able to rewrite reality or something. It was really powerful, and he just drops it because he's just in utter shock.
Yeah.
After a reunion, Della realizes Donald is missing, and they're like, "Oh, it's okay. He's on a cruise ship," and it just cuts to him in a rocket ship doing several G's, and then it
Yeah.
just cuts back to them. Fucking peak comedy. I love that. I love stupid shit like that. Uh, Immediately, Della tells puns, so she's immediately the best mom, even though she's simultaneously the worst because she just can't seem to fucking do anything right. It's
Yeah.
more or less she's just really, really nervous, and she's
She's never
also she's also at heart kind of still a kid herself, and probably insane because she's been on the moon for 10 years alone.
Yep.
Yeah, you'd be a little loopy.
Out of the loop, yeah. Just talking to moon aliens.
Well, that was briefly.
Oh, that's
Well,
true.
I mean, unless aside from the might, which she would have battled 10 years before finally like, oh wait, this is a baby. It was a baby for 10 years. Now I'm concerned. These things have a really slow growth cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah, she does end up getting the kids sick and hurt by accident, and she just again why things need to be kept labeled and or in a safe place. She accidentally wakes up a giant Aztec robot, which gets defeated by noise. It's weird. The
Yeah.
kids do reassure her it's going to take time, but she'll get it. And then Donald actually no, Donald at this point actually finally crashes on the moon and is immediately captured. But yeah, he does get his oxy shoe right before he gets captured. So,
And yeah,
all right, I'm gonna try to speed through the rest of these.
there's
Episode 13. Right, this seems to happen in the first one too. We took a long time, then we're like, oh shit, this is gonna be a long episode. Better hurry up. Episode 13, Raiders of the Doomsday Vault. Scrooge and Glomgold make presentations to get a contract securing a Doomsday Vault. Scrooge's ideas are actually competent, but Glomgold outright admits he just wants to steal the money tree in the vault. And it's like, fucking idiot. Della and Dewey split to go check out the money tree seed. And see, Scrooge makes a call to Beakley. Glomgold handcuffs him to Scrooge, so Scrooge has to take him along. And because Della and Dewey split up, they took the plane, so they actually have to walk or something to the vault.
yeah.
They nearly kill themselves trying to see this stupid seed, and I forget if they even ended up getting the contract after all of that bullshit or not.
I think
Uh,
they do.
yeah, weird. Also, there's like little video messages from Von Drake throughout this whole place. They're oddly interactive, so I'm like, he's totally there. Just he's been waiting for someone to show up just so he can pretend to be an AI
It's like Palpatine.
recording thing.
Long
Yeah.
have I waited.
Somehow Von Drake has returned. Episode 14. Wait, I thought I just said. No, I said 13 before. I thought I had said 15. 14. Friendship hates magic. Finally, we get Lena's first reappearance since season 1. Webby's still trying to find a way to reach out to her. Lena's just kind of in the shadow realm, just watching over her, and not much she could do. Launchpad nearly kills himself sucking a pea through a straw. I just have that written out of context.
Sounds like
New
Launchpad.
character, Violet, is trying to figure out what was up with the shadows attacking Duckburg and just straight up asks, what do you know about Magica Dispel and the Shadow War? Lena immediately says, aha, she just said the M word. And it's like, yeah, I see what you did there. I'm like, wow, I'm surprised they put a joke as,
She said
like,
the M word.
yeah, obviously, like, it's referring to, like how
Yeah.
people say the phrase, the N word. But I'm like, I still found it funny being in a kid's show. I don't know, it just tickled me. Violet has Lena's amulet for some reason, so it's just she seems really sus at first. Let's see. Launchpad introduces Beakley to Darkwing Duck with a VHS tape he's just randomly carrying on his person, which later is revealed he has the entire series on VHS tape just in his jacket at all times, which I find interesting. It would be very easy to just convert that into digital format and just keep it on a flash drive. But okay.
Maybe he just likes to be old school.
Yeah. I mean, hey, old tech can be pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's why we named it the VHS Tapes podcast. Also, just because the thumbnail concept was a cool idea. And we don't even know what it stands for anymore. Let's see. Next. So Violet and Webby try contacting the Shadow Realm. Lena thinks she's just up to some weird shit, but turns out they get warped into the Shadow Realm, and some tulpas are lurking about. I'm going to nerd out a little bit and explain that a tulpa is a mythological creature that it essentially becomes whatever people believe that it is, essentially. So if like people make up some like folk legend about something, like, oh, there's this crazy axe murderer and all these details, it effectively becomes that creature down to like what the lore is. Or at least that's how it was in Supernatural in that one episode. Uh but yeah, so they end up stopping them with they stop the Tulpas and they save Webby with the power of friendship. Literally.
Literally, yeah, that's an actual power in the DuckTales universe.
Yes. And it's like the ultimate power. There's like nothing stronger than that, which is interesting.
Well, there's also family.
Uh yes. Okay, so friendship is the second strongest.
Yeah.
Then we cut back to Beakley and Launchpad. They've finished watching the entire Darkwing series. And as I said before, it implies Launchpad has the entire series on VHS tape stuffed into his jacket. Launchpad laments that the show was canceled right before the end, and Beakley is immediately distraught over not knowing what comes next. Funny, considering DuckTales itself was canceled after the next season.
Yeah, but at least it got to end.
Yeah. See, episode 15. My notes on this one are short. A dangerous chemistry of Gandra D. Fenton goes on a date, but his date is a secret agent sent by Mark Beeks. Mark Beeks drinks some nanites to rip off the ending to Arkham Asylum. So he pretty much just hulks out, and that's all my notes. If you have anything, go for it.
Nah, that's honestly it.
Yeah, that's the whole episode. There's a date, and they rip off Arkham
It's
Asylum.
it's more of a filler, but like it's an enjoyable filler, unlike
Mm.
the second one.
And even though it could be entirely coincidental that like it feels like the same thing Joker did in Arkham Asylum, but coincidentally, possibly, the next episode is episode 16, The Duck Knight Returns.
Oh yeah,
So Launchpad gets to go to a Jim Starling / Darling Duck uh, autographing thing and passes out immediately.
yeah. Who's actually voiced by the original voice actor of Darkwing Duck in the Darkwing Duck show?
Oh,
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. I haven't seen the original. I kind of out of the old show. I want to watch the Darkwing show rather than original Ducktales. But
yeah,
Venom's a shitter and he wants to do that episode, so we'll end up doing it. Also, Venom had a request for me.
yes.
We're about halfway through this episode, so he just wanted me to scream halfway through the episode for no reason.
Oh, okay.
So
Sounds
I
like a
did it.
very Venom thing to do.
There you go, Venom. You happy? If you are happy, please comment below. Oh yes, so another big fan named Drake shows up and says to Jim / Darkwing, I want to keep you in a jar in my closet. And I'm just immediately, I'm like, oh no, no, no. That does not sound appropriate at
No,
all. Oh, I hate that so much. I don't know if they did that intentionally.
maybe.
Uh, as long as he stays dry in the jar, at least. Uh, so there's a Darkwing reboot being made starring Drake. Um, Starling gets Launchpad to help break into, which, funny enough, the studio making this reboot is McDuck Studios, and they want to try to like break this up, but through fighting each other, he realizes that Drake is also a huge nerd, and they develop nerd boners, and there's probably an off-camera gay scene there, which should be included in bonus content if they make a like DVD release.
That'd be really bold of Disney.
Yeah,
especially with the whole
really, that'd be
cast.
extremely bold. Also, yeah, that disc would have to be like rated rated R probably. But yeah, so,
NC-17 or whatever it's called.
yeah, it'd be some real spicy shit. But we need it. So, however, Jim, who is like pretty much just completely lost it to being Darkwing at this point, just uh goes crazy, locks Drake up anyway. So I guess he got dangerous.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. He completely derails the finale, and Drake ends up showing up. They fight each other, and you can't tell who's who at each point because they're fucking identical half the time. Eventually, though, Darkwing does defeat Darkwing, and Launchpad Launchpad convinces Darkwing to snap out of it. Darkwing and Darkwing then save Launchpad, but Darkwing dies.
Yep.
But actually, he got corrupted by some acid and becomes Darkerwing. I don't
No,
know.
Nega Duck.
Oh no.
But we don't
Um,
we don't have to worry about that though, because
yeah.
it's never brought up ever again.
Oh come on. I
Uh,
swear oh,
that's like
that's
that's like
disappointing.
that's like the biggest plot point that never gets brought up, probably
Yeah,
because of the cancellation.
yeah, so canonically what we have to assume happened is like he just actually just off screen just like collapsed and died right in the
from the
sewer.
from the
Right
chemical
there.
radiation.
Yeah, makes sense. Episode 17, whatever happened to Donald Duck? So now we get more of Lunaris continuing his lies against the Moon People, completely turned against Earth. Penumbra, however, is just upset and she really knows what's going on, but doesn't know what to do about it yet. Dewey and Webby attempt to mail themselves to find out why postcards to Donald keep getting returned. I feel like there's an easier way to go about that, but it doesn't work out. Uh, I'm just gonna rapid fire through this. Penumbra releases Donald to try to stop the ships from launching. I I got their names confused for a second. Yeah, so she warns him to steer clear of the soldier barracks, and he immediately falls right into the soldier barracks after being chased by a moon scorpion. They also discover Lunaris has been planning an Earth invasion for years. A clue on Earth takes Webby and Dewey to Elm Street, and they get captured. Unfortunately, not by Freddy Krueger, which was a big disappointment for me. Because if you've been watching the podcast, and I'm also talking to you, uh, you know that I really like the Elm Street movies. They're they're so fucking good. They're so funny.
I've never seen them.
You should. There's especially the second one. There's a lot of gay shit in that one, and it's fantastic. Uh, fuck, where was I? Oh, back on the moon. Lunas discovers that they've discovered his war room and all his plans and everything. So he further reveals his evil plan. Donald loses his shit and just goes ape shit on Lunaris. Escapes in a prototype rocket that's literally just a giant bullet. And his sheer anger is what keeps him alive on the trip home because I don't think he's like sealed in this thing.
Yeah, it's like the opposite of the Sith. He uses his anger for good.
Yeah. Oh boy. We are now at episode 18. Happy birthday, Doofus Drake.
Oh God, we can make this one quick.
Yeah, so Goldie is invited to the mansion by Louis to help with his company. She immediately betrays him until he cries. They go to a Doofus Drake birthday party. Um, Everyone's showing up with like the same idea. They all just want to rob Doofus Drake somehow by stealing the party favors. Um, So let's see. Glomgold shows up with literally just a dummy. Mark Beeks brings a robot kid, which actually is a reoccurring character after this. A couple times at least, I think.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Louis ends up breaking the robot Boyd with simple logic, and Goldie cons Louis by exposing him, and Doofus ends up just sending Boyd after Louis. Goldie eventually saves Louis. Louis is ejected from the party and eventually breaks down, goes back to save Goldie, even though he initially wanted to just, like, well, screw you. But he reprograms Boyd to be Doofus's little brother, who then legally, apparently, takes half of Doofus's Gamimama's money, which is his grandmother, thereby freeing his parents from literal slavery. Doofus is then grounded for eternity. Awesome. Awesome.
I think he deserves more than eternity.
Yeah, eternity plus. Goldie still splits with the money, though, because she's a shitter.
Yeah.
A side plot in this, technically a side quest, if you will, is Della and Huey play an online game. Della wants to completely kick ass, as she's like basically a version of Samus in this game. Huey just kind of wants to garden behind a force field. Eventually, Dewey splits up. I think she goes and plays with Launchpad, and Dewey decides to go as well. But second he drops his force field, a Venom Jewbear creature shows up and just obliterates it. And Della can't handle it, so Dewey cashes in his ridiculous amounts of XP, and his level actually goes over 9,000. He beats the shit out of the creature, and then I guess they're done after that.
Yeah.
It is a great little thing there. Then episode 19, A Nightmare on Killmotor Hill. So the previous episode having a Elm Street sort of reference is killing me here, because title is literally a reference to Elm Street. But I don't think there's much. Actually, I think there's some references to it here. So Lena's powers go out of whack and suck everyone into a dream. Webby gets a cane, top hat, and glasses like Scrooge. Foreshadowing.
Dun dun dun.
Yes. We'll come back to that in the season 3 episode of Ducktales, which will probably be in the 7th season of the podcast.
Yeah.
Maybe.
If we're
At the
lucky.
rate I'm watching this shit. There's a unicorn, but it blinks out of reality once nobody's close enough to dream him into existence. I thought that was great. Kids have a series of dreams. Dewey dreams about being a jock. Louis just dreams about being a lazy cat. Huey dreams about being very tall, but specifically the height is only in his legs, so it looks so cursed.
I love Dewey's reaction.
Yeah, he's just like,
Why, Huey? Why?
yeah, he's just grossed out by it. It was great. Violet dreams about just a library. Lena continuously, because she's at the source of this, just keeps dreaming about Magica based stuff. And her dream is literally becoming Magica. The power of friendship, of course, snaps everybody out of it because they initially start attacking her. It turns out this whole thing was done by Magica. She's powerless, but all she managed to do was get like a mind control device to make them dream a certain way. And Lena just kind of tells her off, like, you have nothing now. You have no power, so you have no hold over me, so piss off. And Magica just loses her mind at that point. And yes, there is actually no Elm Street references in an episode with the episode title referencing Elm Street, so I am disappointed. I want Elm Street, an Elm Street parody. I mean, I guess it kind of does because there's the dream thing. The kids are having weird dreams, but like, there's only one bad dream.
Yeah.
All right, episode 21, Typhoon. This one was amusing. The kids did shopping before this weird hurricane happened, but they only bought chili for chili cheese dogs. Louis discovers the time bathtub from earlier episode and uses it to steal treasure from the past. They accidentally bring a cave duck to the future with them, and somehow that fucks up everything, and a time vortex merges with the storm, creating the Typhoon. Random people just keep showing up from different time periods. And yeah, chaos just everywhere. Excuse me. Huey absolutely loses his shit because the cave duck does not match his historical research, and I love that. He's just continuously freaking out over it. So eventually, Louis manages to send everything and everyone back. Once thing is, he has to put back all the treasures that he took, and then like everything like kind of goes back to normal. Um, Everyone that got sucked into a different time period. However, they do appear they were stuck in the past for quite some time because everyone's in like get up from whatever time period they ended up in. Della absolutely just rips into Louis that his recklessness of jumping into that contraption without thinking of the consequences. In a cruel burn, he says, "I wonder where I get that from," but he ends up grounded anyways. Very cool. Launchpad, however, they just ask him like, "Well, where'd you go?" Because like we didn't see any like there was like paintings and stuff that changed based on who went where, and they didn't see anything Launchpad based. So they ask him, and he just says, "I went to the future. I've seen how the world ends. It was cool. See you there." Just that was my favorite part.
It was cool. See then. Just like no context. So like, okay.
All right, so let's see. Next we have episode 22, Glomtails. This one
Yeah,
has
now
a we have this
this is an
special
episode.
we have the special episode intro of Glomgold having taken over the show, basically.
That automatically gives this episode like extra points just because of that intro.
Yes, finally have something different. Excuse me. So yeah, Louis gets left behind as they go to hunt treasure at Big Rock Candy Mountain, which I swear is a song, actually, but it's not referenced here really. The whole time Louis is just trying to escape, but there's a security bot keeping him under control. So Glomgold manages to he seeks out the Beagles, Elon Musk, Don Carnage, and Magica, and since she's powerless, she's just doing birthday parties. And the idea is, excuse me, I need a drink here. Yeah. The idea is they're all gonna attack the manor all at once, but nobody's there, so Louis joins them, and he's definitely cooking up his own scheme. He convinces all of them to pool their money to Glomgold, making him the richest duck, and therefore he wins the bet. But because his real name is Duke Balloony, all the money goes to his new partner, Louis, so Louis becomes the world's richest duck. Which, this is not a good thing, considering the next episode. Excuse me. Episode 23, The Richest Duck in the World. A flashback shows when Scrooge first became the richest duck, he inherited a curse known as the Bombi. Louis ends up to save money, cuts magic defense on this random island, and they go to investigate, which is it's this giant. If you know from DC Comics, Solomon Grundy, it kind of looks similar.
Does.
Uh, they escape. It hitches a ride on the plane. Louis ends up learning. He earns humility, which is the one thing that the richest duck cannot buy, and the Bombi just goes away. Which, like, that was it.
Convenient.
Scrooge gets his money back and also earns this, so the curse is just completely ended. So I don't know if we see this creature again. Probably not.
Nah, I don't think so.
Yeah, let's see. Della goes on Dewey's show to try to send a message to Penumbra, and by the episode's end, she gets a response. Lunaris is coming, and then we have the two-part finale,
Just
Moon
cover it
Invasion.
on.
You go ahead. I've been talking a lot. You go ahead and start this one.
All
I
right.
am so thirsty.
All right, I gotcha. Moon invasion. The time has come. Lunaris is invading. Um, so basically, everyone's kind of panicking. Gizmo Duck, he actually goes up to approach them. Offers some pie, and then they just start blasting him. As the gang heads over to the money bin, Scrooge is like, "All right." He's like Iron Man. He's like, "All right, we gotta initiate our self defense modes." And then they're like, "Yeah, no." Gearless like, "Yeah, no." They took all that down. This is like a very well planned out invasion. So basically, they have no defense. Earth has no defense. Lunaris is able to take over the city pretty easily. And then they
It's
basically,
almost it's
yeah,
almost like you actually hacked into my phone and got my notes. I know you probably just either have your own or you looked at a
yeah.
wiki, but it's like exactly what I wrote. It's almost like we watched the same episode.
Wow. Um, what else? Basically they kind of hatch a plan. They're just gonna get all those allies they've gotten throughout the last two seasons to rise up, and they use like the little bulbs from the first season to help them out. Della takes Webby and the boys to go try to find them, while Launchpad and Darkwing and Scourge and Lena and Violet try to help in Duckburg itself.
Hmm.
In terms of Della and the gang, they kind of try to go around, but they kind of fail. All the other allies are actually getting swarmed too, and then they
Yeah,
crash land on an island, which coincidentally, Donald Duck is there too, and his only friend is a watermelon that's shaped like Mickey Mouse and has the voice of Mickey Mouse.
yeah. It's a reference to Castaway with Wilson.
Yeah.
Wilson.
Wilson.
Uh, but yeah, I love that. Earlier on, Launchpad gets saved by Darkwing, and the aliens like come up to the launch pad, but they just go away because they think they're neither of them are dangerous.
Yeah.
Like, these guys aren't a threat. Never mind. But in all the fighting later on, they do end up being pretty useful. uh, so in a batshit crazy plan, Scrooge swaps outfits with Darkwing so he can sneak in to, I think, back at the mansion or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, they're having their
And like
last stand over at the mansion.
literally 2 seconds after he gets in, he just takes off the outfit. I'm like, bruh, you're gonna expose yourself so fast. But yeah. Then in a part two, Donald and Della reunite in an angry scream fest, and like yeah, you said the watermelon thing. Uh, Glomgold suggests another cockamamie scheme to destroy Lunaris. It involves sharks and parkas, a giant slingshot with Launchpad as a rock, and
Wait,
Scrooge dressed up as Santa to
you
give Glom his company back.
you forgot one thing though. They're not. You know what they're called, right? A shark and a parka. A
That's what I
sharka.
said. Oh, Right.
You missed that joke. How dare you?
Good point. Just for that, you can host the third episode when we get to it.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, we'll completely forget that by then, so it's
Probably.
all good. Um, but yeah, Scrooge is dressed up as Santa, and he's tricked to gifting Glom his company back, but it's all part of the stupidest plan in existence. The kids then show up with a giant krill from that Feathery episode. Lunaris is just launched back into space, prepares to blow up Earth. Everyone gets on a ship, they go fight him. It's fucking insane. The kids make laser sounds, despite the lasers already making laser sounds. Excuse me. Their ship ends up taking heavy fire, and it seems like there is no escape until Penumbra flies out of nowhere and cripples Lunaris' ship. Selene, goddess of the moon, tells Lunaris he's now trapped in orbit around the Earth, becoming the latest moon. And he's just mortified at the thought of that. Um, on Earth, Launchpad immediately becomes infatuated with Penumbra because she crashed into the ship. She simply just returns this by stating that she could destroy him. And then in like post credits or whatever, the buzzards from
Oh,
Scrooge's company are revealed to be part of Fowl, running everything behind the scenes, and confirms that I knew something was up with them.
dun dun dun.
And that's all I got to say about season 2.
It's definitely my favorite season, but I think it's because I'm biased.
Yeah, season 3 is still good, but it's also a bit rushed because, well,
Bit rushed, and since the last few seasons had one duck as the sole duck theme, the last season had to tie in both Dewey, no, not Dewey, Huey and Webby, but they
mhm,
kind of focus more on Webby.
yeah. Excuse me. I'm still dying.
Understandable.
But yeah, that's about it. I guess that's the end of that. And yeah, well, maybe in another year, hopefully less time, we'll
Yeah.
get on to season 3.
Yep. Until
See ya.
then.